The principle behind accidents and illness. The law of progression from the perspective of Jeongbeop. 1. Accidents and suffering are not random events, but progressive results. Accidents, illness, and hardship never occur suddenly. They are not punishments that fall from nowhere, but outcomes that have been slowly progressing according to the laws of nature. Accidents and suffering are like a current approaching from afar. They begin as subtle signs, gradually growing stronger, and if a person remains stagnant without change, they eventually lead to an unavoidable collision. Nature always gives human beings time and opportunity to rise to the next level. However, when a person fails to grow and remains where they are, a shock occurs to awaken them from stagnation. 2. If you stay still, you are hit. If you rise, you avoid it. The principle of nature is simple. When a person grows and moves up one level, difficulties pass beneath them. But when one remains in the same place, that force eventually strikes precisely where they stand. Those who experience repeated accidents or frequent illness are often not unlucky people, but individuals whose way of living has stopped progressing. This is not punishment, but a clear signal from nature saying, it is time to change. 3. The law of 3 and 7 and the structure of human inheritance. Human beings are born with the law of 3 and 7. 30% consists of turbid energy, or negative genetic tendencies. 70% consists of clear and positive genetic tendencies. This structure does not mean humans are designed to become ill from birth. Rather, it exists so that one's way of living determines which energy grows stronger. When a person chooses an incorrect way of life, the negative genetic tendencies gradually become activated. When a person lives rightly, learning, reflecting, and making effort, the positive genetic tendencies gain strength and suppress the growth of negative energy. 4. Illness appears only at the final stage. Illness does not appear suddenly. Only when negative energy gradually grows beyond 50% and eventually reaches 70% does the body finally signal pain. In other words, illness is the result of a process that has long been underway. Medical treatment addresses only one visible manifestation of that process. This is why, after treating one condition, another problem often appears. The fundamental way of living has not changed. 5. What is essential after treatment? Study and reflection. True recovery begins after treatment. Why did this happen to me? What kind of life attitude have I been choosing? How must I live so that this does not repeat? If these questions are not answered, difficulties will return in a different form. However, when one makes sincere effort to live rightly, negative energy gradually weakens, positive energy revives, and illness, accidents, and hardship naturally dissolve. 6. Accidents are not punishment, but awakening. Accidents and suffering are not punishments born of anger. They are not acts of violence by another person, nor acts of revenge. They are simply signals from nature, from God's order, saying, your way of living must change. Yet people continue to pray only, please prevent accidents. This is like asking the very structure that creates accidents to erase their results. The true question should be this: how must I live so that accidents no longer occur? 7. The true role of religion. A place to learn, not merely to pray. A church is not a place solely for prayer. The word jiao, means to teach, and hui, means to gather, study, and discuss. A church is a place where people learn how to live by truth, reflect together, and practice the right way of living. God hates no one. Every person is precious, and nature simply guides each person so that they may learn to live rightly on their own. 8. Conclusion. The answer always lies in one's way of living. If something has already gone wrong, one must acknowledge it. The only true solution is to redesign one's life and make sincere effort to live rightly from this point forward. Nature is honest. When one lives rightly, right results inevitably follow. Now is the time not to live a life of mere prayer, but to move toward a life of study, understanding, and practice.